You had a busy signing day with 4 guys. Could you kind of walk through each guy, what they bring, what you foresee them being in their careers at Florida State?
I'll kind of start like from the furthest away to, I'll start with Elijah Moore, receiver from Good Counsel. I think he's one of the most underrated receivers in the class. I mean, he's a 6'3", 6'4" kid, can run, good ball skills. One thing about the kid, I mean, he loves to work. He's a hard worker, and one of the things he did, he came down to one of our camps and was very impressive at our camp. And the next day, he went back home, and he was out working again. You know, so just his work ethic, what he brings to the table, bad case of the wants. I think he's a really good football player. He's going to help this team. Then you got B.J. Gibson, two-sport athlete, really athletic kid, competitor, very smart on and off the football field. He's got that competitive edge. He really brings a lot to the table. Also, like we've seen him in person as well. And, good ball skills. The kid can run. He does a really good job with the ball in his hands. And that was very impressive from last year up until this year. He's done some really good things with the ball in his hands. And that was one of the things that impressed us about him, that he plays bigger than what he really is. And so we're just glad to have him in this class, right up the road from Rochelle, Georgia. And so really excited about him. Also, Camdon Frier, another two-sport athlete. He's, legacy. His dad played here at Florida State.
You played with his uncle, right? You played with Todd?
I played with his uncle Todd. We came out the same year. And, Cam is just like his brother and his uncle. Very competitive. I didn't get a chance to see that at first, but then when I saw it in Camden at a couple of games that I got a chance to see, he's a competitive young man. He can run, make some contested catches. Still got some work to do, and but a young man that's really driven. Like he feels like he's got to carry on the legacy. But he did a really good job of handling his business and doing the things that they need to do to earn the opportunity to come play at Florida State. So we're excited about him as well. And then Lawayne McCoy, athletic kid, from South Florida. One of the things he did was he came to FIU camp and he said, "Coach, I'm gonna earn a scholarship." And that's what he did. He showed what he can do on and off the football field on both sides of the ball as a receiver and as a DB. And he's a competitor as well. And it's kind of overall with these guys. We brought in some guys that are competitors. They love to compete. They're good kids off the football field, in the classroom, and I'm excited to see what they all can do.
You don't want to put limitations on kids when they get here, but there's also the reality of a true freshman getting a lot of playing time at a place like Florida State. Can you foresee one or two of all these guys maybe being in the mix to get on the field?
Well, that's why you bring those guys in, and the good thing is 3 of those guys are getting the opportunity to come in early, so they will get the opportunity to be on the field early, depending on what they do in the spring, but that gives them a leg up, getting that opportunity to be here in the spring, to get into the system, get into the tour duty, get into some of those things in the summertime that we like to do with our guys before we get to fall or training camp. And I also think with Elijah, his skill set, being a bigger receiver that can run, bigger receiver that can catch the football, I think he have opportunity as well. But usually you bring guys in that's going to come in and going to challenge guys for their jobs. We tell our guys that when we get on the road, we go recruit. We're trying to find guys that can come in and compete, for your jobs. Your job is to keep your job, but we're always transparent, with our players. And but I do think the guys that we brought in have an opportunity to come in and compete.
How much do you guys look for different type of skill sets and versatility when you're looking at high school wideouts?
Well, you always want to bring in a different type of receivers and not just the same guy. When you look at those guys that we brought in, all of them bring something different to the table. The first thing you look at is the skill set. You look at their character, you look at off the field, how hard they work, do they love football, and those are the things that go into it as well, and not just, what can a young man do on the football field. You got to love the game. You got to love the game. You got to love the work. All right, especially you coming to sign with Florida State, because that's what we do is we work. And we challenge our guys a lot. You know, and that's very important that the guys that you bring in, they know that, you know, before they get here, so they won't be shocked when they do get in and see how hard we work.
How much does it help to have a quarterback recruit that seems so involved in the recruiting process? Because you got guys that want to know who's going to be throwing them the football. How much did it help him just through the course of this recruitment for the 2024 class to be such a pivotal part of it?
I'll say this: it's very important to have that guy. You know, but what really very intriguing to me was when I saw our quarterback in this class. He was at Charles's reveal party, whatever, his commitment party, and he was right by his side. You know, and you know, just to see that was very encouraging, and you know, to not only be with one of your teammates, abuse your teammates, but he wasn't even on the opposite side of the ball. He was on the other side of the ball, so that was very impressive to see that. You know, moving forward, and just to know how close this class will be, you know, but just having that quarterback, that gunslinger that can come in with his class of skilled guys offensively is very big. I think it's very important. Like when I came in with Dan Kendrick,
right?
You know, so I think it's very important to come in with the guy that has the opportunity to go out and compete as well.
Can you feel, I assume you can, the momentum of this program when it comes to the recruiting trail, what you're hearing from recruits, the ability to recruit bigger and bigger names and bigger stars and all that? It seems like it's been an ongoing progression, but this class is the best one y'all signed. The one last year was the best one y'all signed until this one.
Right.
Do you see that continuing?
I do see it, and you got to understand that people talk. You know, we got our guys on the team, and people ask those guys, you know, how are the coaches, how are things done at Florida State, and we're always transparent with our guys, and those guys talk, their parents talk, you know, they talk to recruits' parents, you know, about how things are done at Florida State, how well the coaches work with the players, you know, is it really a family atmosphere, you know, so those things and the word is getting around how Florida State does things, you know, and I think that's very important, that the way we carry ourselves, the way we treat our young men, the way we treat their parents, it speaks volumes. The coaching staff that Coach Novell has brought in, as well as the way Coach Novell handles things and the way he does things here at Florida State. You know, so I think it is a momentum builder. You know, when every year you can get a better signing class and to come here to Florida State. You know, so looking forward to this class that's coming in. You know, and you don't get time to breathe, so you got to work on the next class as well. You know, but I'm really looking forward to this class, and those guys excited. You know, each and every one of those guys that Coach Novell asked, "What are you excited for?" They all said, "We can't wait to get to Florida State." You know, so it's very encouraging to see. You know, very encouraging to hear and feel the way those guys feel about Florida State.
Have you worked with multi-sport athletes before, and I guess just what does it take for those guys to be able to commit and sign for both two sports?
I mean, usually the guys that you sign, especially at the receiver position, you know, they played basketball, you know, they've run track, you know, they play different sports, you know, so you got the multi-sport athletes. That's usually typically a receiver. You know, you want the athletic guy that every sport that he plays, he's good at doing. You know, and I always kind of go back to when I played, played, three sports, Peter Work, different sport, Randy Moss, different sport. I'm just talking about the guys that came in, we all played multiple sports, and E.G. Green, Andre Cooper, and some of those guys, were multi-sport guys. And that's what you kind of, now if a kid's just a true just football player and he doesn't play another sport, that's fine. I mean, he doesn't have to be, but just so happened that some of the guys we run into, they play multiple sports.